The nonpartisan civil servants in the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change think their boss, Catherine McKenna, is a real climate hero. Are they government employees or are they fan club members now? Our national nightmare continues. Right now, in Ottawa, Environment Minister Catherine McKenna is hosting what she calls a high-level event in preparation for the G7 meetings that will be held in Quebec later on this summer. And like every high-level event hosted by the Liberal government, the priority will be on gender for some reason. According to the press release, the focus on gender will ensure that gender equality and gender-based analysis are integrated across all themes, activities, and outcomes, including on environment and climate change. I have no idea what that means. Now, it's a climate leaders summit called Women Kicking It on Climate Action. I can't even say the name without cringing. And this is the tweet that came out of the Environment Canada official Twitter account to promote the event. It reads, "Minister McKenna is also a great #climate hero, and she is a great example of high-level women influencers who will be leading discussions at tomorrow's Climate Leaders Summit. Women kicking it on climate in Canada." And then the tweet was accompanied by some garbage feminist type quote about how women are disproportionately affected by climate change from the good minister herself, who also says she's seen it firsthand that women are truly kicking it on climate. What exactly is she kicking? My wallet? The oil industry when it's down? Like what? And honestly, who names these things? I'm assuming the name was selected by Catherine McKenna in a desperate attempt to seem cool and with it, but instead she ended up seeming forced and dorky and awkward. The name of this event reminds me of when old people try to relate to young people on a young person's level. I've made this mistake myself. One time I said the word fam in front of my son's friends, and the horror and revulsion on my son's face is something I will never forget. But now I know exactly what that feels like, but it's, you know, on a national scale. Anyway, if you're interested, you can watch the entire live stream of the whole Women Kicking It on Climate Action Summit on the Environment Canada Facebook page if you have a penchant for masochism and have run out of paint to watch dry. I tried myself for 15 minutes. Now, Environment and Climate Change Canada did eventually delete that tweet praising McKenna as a climate hero, but only after they were raked over the coals on Twitter for it. And Environment Canada absolutely deserved all the criticism they were getting for this tweet. Environment Canada is an official government ministry, and it is not supposed to be engaged in partisan purposes. I'd suggest it's pretty partisan to be calling the minister in charge a climate hero. The account is supposed to talk about Environment Canada initiatives or give weather information, but stroking the ego of the Liberal minister in charge is probably not in the job description of the poor communications intern at the other end of that Twitter handle. Now, the tweet was quietly deleted with no admissions of wrongdoing and without any real explanation of how that tweet came to be in the first place. But we do know through other Freedom of Information investigations that Catherine McKenna's ministry has at least 20 people who are involved in the planning and scheduling of her tweets. And those tweets are planned well in advance of events like this. So this tweet was likely no accident. It was probably a conscious, planned thing for the minister to use her department for partisan purposes, to have her department praise her as a hero. That's weird, and it's so narcissistic. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't think government resources should be used to further McKenna's sense of self-importance. Environment and Climate Change is a government agency and not McKenna's personal fan club. But if you go to Environment and Climate Change Canada's Twitter feed right now, or their Facebook page, it resembles Teen Vogue as this silly Women Kicking It on Climate Summit just trolls on and on and on. Everybody is a climate hero, apparently. All the women, they're heroes because Not all heroes wear capes, you know. Some of them want to make my family and your family poorer with a carbon tax. What a gross misuse of the word hero, by the way. Cops, they can be heroes. Our military, yeah, they're heroes. The guy who stopped the shooting at a Waffle House, that's a real hero. Carbon taxers, that's not heroism, that's liberalism. And it's the opposite of heroism because it's the path of least resistance. But the apparent nonpartisan civil service in Canada openly fawning over Liberals is really nothing new. The civil service is pretty open about it, despite the fact that Canada's Civil Service Code of Conduct prevents employees from participating in any activity that could impair or be perceived to impair their ability to perform their duties in an impartial manner. Look at this CBC article from 2015, just days after Justin Trudeau's new gender parity cabinet was sworn in. He was mobbed, accosted, cheered, and celebrated by civil servants working at the offices of the Foreign Affairs Department. They were taking selfies with him. The crowd of civil servants even booed a reporter that day when the reporter tried to ask a negative question of Foreign Affairs Minister at the time, Stéphane Dion. But the public service in Canada has never really tried to hide their far leftism, and they've been very open about their dislike of conservative politicians. The Public Service Alliance of Canada, now that's the union that makes up 44 federal government departments and agencies, printed up Harper Hates Me buttons in 2012, and then public service workers actually had the audacity to wear them to work. Back then, much to the chagrin of the union, their managers actually tried to crack down on this violation of the impartiality clause of the public service contracts. You think Trudeau is going to be enforcing that rule anytime soon? Of course not. With Trudeau plummeting in approval polls and Canadians becoming tired of his constant focus on anything but the economy, Trudeau needs those 17,000 public service workers acting as an arm of the Liberal Party of Canada. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. What you just saw there was my daily video that I do here at The Rebel, but did you know that I also have my own full-length show? It's called The Gun Show, and we talk about issues facing Canadian families. Now, to get access to my show and the rest of our incredible premium content, treat yourself to a Rebel subscription today.